Hey guys, today I'm going to be animating some mouth movement on this character and teach you a few techniques that I've learned.
So you are what you are in this world. That's either one or two things. Either you're somebody or you're nobody. Be right back.
Okay, I've got a few tips here. First one is make any changes to your audio, any tweaks you want before you start animating. In this example here with the scene that I'm going to be animating, I wanted one of the pauses in the dialogue to be longer, so I took it into Audacity, which is free software, and it's the one that I recommend just because it's really simple to use. Took the last line of dialogue, moved it along, and then added a bit of ambient noise in there as filler. So then the result of that was that he took a longer pause before he turned around and said the next word. Yeah, it was kind of important to do that before you get into the animating stage of especially the lip sync, because you want it all to sync up nicely. It's generally agreed that animating characters, it works better when you have recorded the audio before you animate. I mean, you can try and do one where you animate the character and then dub the audio on top, but it generally just doesn't seem to be as good, and you can't be as accurate with your character animation. Use a mirror. So I've got this mirror here. It's just a little bathroom mirror. I'm going to be looking into it occasionally when I get stuck. I've angled it so that what I see in the mirror is a similar angle to what the character is angled at in the scene. So it should make it a bit easier to, say, map the jaw and the mouth onto his face, because I'll be able to see what the shape of that mouth looks like from that angle. You can also use reference footage, and I think you should use both. So at the same time, I also mimed the piece of dialogue. I wasn't the voice for this. I actually took this line of dialogue from a movie scene, which is a great way if you want to get some practice on this. You can just take some a line from a famous film or something. I basically synced myself up to the audio, and that's what I was hearing through the headphones when I was doing it. So it looks a little something like this.
So you are what you are in this world.
So you see, I'm trying to basically match what my lips are doing. Yeah, I'm not that good at it, but you don't have to be perfect at it. But that can be some great reference as well. Okay, so instead of going from what you think the mouth shape is, actually observe what the shape of the mouth actually looks like and what it's doing. Draw what you see instead of what you think it is. So that's pretty simple, but a lot of people don't do it. Animate the body before animating the face. That's I recommend that, because if the body is moving in any way, the face is like the secondary component to it, because the body you have to know where the face is in order to animate the face. Animating the majority of the keyframes for the body first. And what I've actually done here is I've just put in placeholders where the mouth is. So I've drawn the face in, because the face is part of the body. I just haven't animated it, I haven't moved it. So it looks like this.
You are what you are in this world.
So it's just not moving to the rhythm. So now that makes my job pretty easy. Now all I've got to do is just go in and just make it move properly. Not every letter needs to be drawn. That's basically we speak a lot. We say a lot of words, and because of that, we become very efficient at using our mouth, and we kind of skip over certain things with how our mouth moves. You don't really need to animate every syllable of every word. It can be that you'll find places where you can just cut corners. So keep a lookout for them. The sync will naturally be a bit off. So if you're syncing up the sounds with the animation, and you can see in the waveform that the speech starts at a certain place. If you exactly match your syllable that you're drawing, it will probably look a little bit late. The audio is too early for the mouth. I think that's the right way around. I've got it. Also, another reason is because our voice works in this way where we've basically got an interaction of two different parts of the body, and they're both working together. The voice box and the lungs and the airways, and then the mouth. What happens is you start making the mouth movements before the sound is made. Before the sound is made. Do you see what I'm doing there? I'm just exaggerating it there so you can see. Your mouth gets ready, it gets into the right position, and then it makes the sound. What will probably happen is you'll just offset them a little bit. You'll have to listen and play it by ear, and then be sort of just position them so that they're just right with the mouth. So don't go by what the waveform is telling you. If the waveform is saying like he starts talking on this frame, you've got to actually use your own judgment on that. Let's go on to the scene. I'm going to play it for you, what we've got so far.
So you are what you are in this world. That's either one or two things. Either you're somebody, or you're nobody. Be right back.
Okay, so he basically gets eaten by a dragon after that. I'm just finding a way where I can have the jaw automatically update from what we've got, just have another layer on top where we can play about with it. So let's see what we can do about that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all match all the keyframes up. So I'm just going along and moving all the keyframes. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention that the waveform itself, you need to set that in the sound setting in the properties. You need to set it to stream, and that way you can hear it. You can play over a little part of it and not have it just play the whole sound clip. So setting it to stream is important. To import any sound, it just needs to be an MP3 or WAV file in Flash, and then you just drag it into your library from your documents, and then you drag it in on a keyframe. So now let's just select the head, copy, paste in place, go to the next one, copy, paste in place. Just gonna do this all the way down. I'm not showing you the fastest method for doing this, I'm just showing you the method that I'm choosing and the one that's gonna get me the style that I think I'm going for. But it is a solid method. It's just that it's not the most time-saving method. If you are looking for like the cheapest, quickest method, it's all about reusing symbols. You just draw them out once, and then you can just alternate between the different options you've already got. But that only works if you keep your character looking in a certain angle, which I'm not a big fan of. I want my character to feel free to look about wherever he wants, and to feel really free. Normal people don't have the restrictions of just, looking straight at you. So why should your character have that restriction of just looking at a certain angle? If you've got something you need to do across all the different frames, just do them for every single frame, and then do the next thing for every single frame. That's just a big time saver. So now we can see with the wireframe that the body is on the lower layer, and then this is on the layer above. So we're keeping it nice and simple. We've got two layers, one for the body, one for the face. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to just work through the line work, and then afterwards you've got to close up these gaps, make sure that it overlaps with the body, and that it all works with the body. Right now we just want to get this mouth working and everything. So let's listen to the first line.
So you are.
Okay, see you are.
So you are. So you are what.
I'm looking into my mirror right now and doing this. And this is more of a sharp S. It's not a S, it's a S. You see how you can have different types depending on, like, you know, your cheeks and everything. When I do teeth, I don't draw the individual teeth, I just do these two little markings like that to indicate. It's always great to show the teeth. I don't know why, but the ones with the teeth are always like the best ones to use. So if they ever show teeth, I just find that it's easy to go back to the teeth.
So you are what you are.
Instead of it being you are what you are, it's like ya what ya. So then you know it's ye ya what ya. You know, it's like it's way less than you think it is. A good thing to pay attention to, which can help if you're feeling stuck, is if you think of the mouth like a kind of simple shape, and then all the stuff, most of the stuff happens like in here, right? If you pay attention to this kind of axis and whether this squashes in, that can be a really good indicator of what kind of sound it's going to be, but also this axis. So, you know, like, pay attention to that kind of thing. Yeah, and that's going to help. We need to constantly be playing it back so that we know if it's working. So now we've established quite a lot of the different mouth shapes, we can start just copying and pasting them onto different frames and reusing them a little bit. But then I still like to customize them at times.
So you are what you are in this world. You are in this world.
It almost works. It almost works. But I feel like it's just missing something.
That's either one or two things. That's either one or two things. That's either one or two things. That's either one or
stretch open. When he does open his mouth on those syllables, I'm going to stretch the mouth a little bit more, so there's a bit more of a distinction between when he's got his jaw closed and when he's got it open. So any like this, I'm just going to bring them down a little bit like that. So then it creates more of a contrast between the mouth being open and the mouth being closed. Let's see how that looks.
That's either one or two things.
I think that's a little bit more distinctive.
That's either one or two things. That's either one.
The last mouth shape they make, they will just keep it afterwards until I start talking again, or if I completely stop the conversation altogether and I'm sure that I'm not going to say anything more, then my mouth will change to this. So you just got to let the last one linger and not just immediately close your mouth like this, closing the mouth after every line. That doesn't look natural. Okay, so we've changed now to a different head positioning, so we gotta, I guess, rethink our tactics for this one because it's on a profile view and things do look different from a profile view. I find it more tricky for lip syncing. And this is going to operate more as a hinge, so I'll bring that up. The hinge, I think the jaw is like, you know, this kind of thing, and you imagine like the hinge is actually it's more like here, the hinge. So if that's the axis, it kind of swings on that axis, I think.
Either you're somebody, 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 either you're somebody. So you are what you are in this world. So you are what you are in this world. That's either one or two things. Either you're somebody, or you're nobody. I'll be right back.
I just like went through and exaggerated it a lot so that it's like easier to distinguish the different letters.
So you are what you are in this world.
The mouth movements are looking good, but now we need to move the jaw around to match the when the mouth opens and closes. You just need to think like, how do I preserve the amount of chin he has between his bottom lip and his chin. You gotta preserve that. So I'm gonna go through and erase these jaws. So you can't fill this shape because of that massive gap. So what I've done is I've just built these skin colored barriers in to keep, so then I can fill it in like that and keep the fill working. So I'll show you with this example. So here and then here. So then we need to turn this to the base layer, the body layer, to wireframe. And then, you know, with our paint behind, we need to find a place where they overlap. So hopefully with this one, yeah, it's overlapped quite a lot onto the whole head. But we can just see this. So we're gonna just plug it here and then fill it in. And then now we don't have that problem of that little gap we had.
So you are what you are in this world. That's either one or two things. Either you're somebody, or you're nobody. I'll be right back.
I bring out videos on Saturdays every 2 weeks. So if you want to be notified of them, please subscribe to the channel. Check out the links in the description. I provide a lot of value in the links that I provide. So you can sign on to my newsletter from the description. You can visit the forums, join the Discord group. There's so much you can do just by looking in the description and clicking a few of those links. You can see where I buy all my equipment from, my recommended books, all of that kind of stuff. So check that out, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.